want to tell you that the experience of doing Collier & Company was just incredible. It was so much fun, I can't even begin to explain it to you. And several of the reasons why, in this very brief introduction, I'm just going to let you meet a couple of the people, not everybody, but a couple of the folks who are involved with this. Wendy and Phil and Marcus and Ellie. So much fun. So you'll get to know them right now for a second, then we'll get on with this documentary, and you'll see how this whole thing came together. Thanks for getting Collier & Company Hot Pursuit. We'll see you in a little bit. But I need to get rid of it, and I don't want to move it. It's going to take too darn long. Oh, hey. Hi. Are you recording?
I am.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the continuing saga of J.R. Collier & Company. Now, a lot of people would not still be editing after the movie is in theaters. But not me, by golly. I'm still tweaking. I will tweak until they pry it from my cold, dead fingers.
Heart, mind, and soul went into this movie, and you know, when you have John Schneider, who wrote it, directed it, starred in it, and did the, you know, put it all together on the computer and photographed it, blah, 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 you can't help but be a winner.
One of the things that we really miss now that we're not shooting Collier & Company anymore is all of our friends were in the movie, as well as our family, our children.
No.
That's my girl.
And we just got to really bond with our friends and family. We would have people over for dinner. We would sit out by the patio and have a glass of wine, or John would be drinking a draft of beer. And that was really a lot of fun. And I really miss that about the movie, more so than anything else, was just the friendships and the bonding time with our friends and family.
That was a great thing, because you make a movie like this of this quality, and you go see another movie, which I won't mention, the one with John Travolta and all those guys on the motorcycle. I don't know the name of it. But, you know, they got 400 people working, and we had Mike.
Let's see, I met John. I'm laying up in the bed one day next to my girlfriend, having a good time, and John calls me. Oh, you want me to change that? Should I?
I'm laying up in bed, getting cozy with my girlfriend.
Should I?
Come on.
Should I edit that? Okay.
Collier & Company is a movie about fun, family. It's restoring a relationship.
So how's your mom?
She's still pissed. She says that she can only raise one 12-year-old at a time. What does she mean by that?
It's nothing but fun.
I'm sitting in my office one day, and all of a sudden I get this phone call, and John says, "Hey, we're doing a movie, and you're in the movie. Download the script, and your part is Shorty. Remember your parts."
I'm sending Shorty here with you so you don't mess up.
I read the script. Every script sounds great to me, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, man, this is a great concept, especially when John tells me, hey, we're gonna do this thing for charity. We're gonna buy school books for underprivileged children in the South. You know, John being the nice guy that he is. So I say, what the heck, yeah, I'll contribute. And that's how it happened.
I mean, when you leave that theater, you're stoked. You want to go drive a '69 Charger.
Awesome. Your dad is so cool.
Yeah.
John Schneider's Collier & Company Hot Pursuit. Yick, yick, yick.
And something about what? That was hair director.
As I was putting together all these things for the special features, I came across the first footage that we shot for Collier & Company. It was a test with a JVC camera that I had bought a couple of years ago, my gosh, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It's a scene where JR and Danielle are talking about trying to get Becky to go out with JR again, and about the divorce and stuff. You'll notice something here. It's very interesting, I think, because I had JR and Danielle not on the grass, not looking up at the clouds, but I had them sitting down and using chapstick and flipping their hat and doing all kinds of things that made them very similar. So this is the very first scene that was ever shot in Collier & Company, still 24 years after it was originally written, and with me and my daughter, Biscuit, although some people call her Karras.
And wait till I say rolling. Rolling.
All right, this is 20 Charlie. Take 2.
Wow.
Voila. Okay, how are your teachers? Except Miss Paradise? She's a real what?
Witch.
Oh, hey, don't talk about your teachers that way. She's a real witch when I had her too. Here, sit down. So, how's your mom?
She's pissed off. She said she can only raise one 11-year-old at a time. I don't really know what she means by that.
She was just afraid I'll do something stupid. I'm going to ask her out on Saturday night.
She won't go.
Well, she might go if you help me.
I don't want to take my medicine. Are you going to sign those papers that you're supposed to sign?
I might have to. Look, you feel a lot better since you started taking medicine, right?
Yeah, but I feel different from everybody else at school.
You are different from everybody else in school. You're my daughter, and I'm the most differentest daddy in the whole wide world, right?
First female 500 race winner?
Yes, if that's what you want, absolutely. Oh, hey, Billy and I got him.
All 12?
Yep, all 12, full order. We have gone legit.
So technically, you're a car salesman?
Yeah, technically I'm a car salesman.
So that ought to make mom not want to divorce you.
Say that one more time.
That ought to make mom not want to divorce you.
I hope so, baby. I hope so.
Can I be a car salesman like you when I grow up?
Say that one more time.
Can I be a car salesman like you when I grow up?
You're a whole lot better than me. Just don't let your mother hear you say that. Okay? Come on. Cut!
Okay.
Good girl. All right. Acre's Tavern was established, I think, in 1941, I think is what the sign says. But that place has been here since then, and it's in a very populated area. But when you go there, all the beginning of the movie where JR almost loses Traveler and winds up winning the Series 1 is all shot right there. It's in Newbury Park. Actually, only about 5 minutes from where all those fancy cars are sitting. So I use that for not only that scene, but also for when we meet Becky. She works at a restaurant, and I shot the back of Acre's, has a little restaurant in it. We shot there one day. So I showed up there one night with my camera and my Expedition, and I was shooting some establishing shots from across the street. And people were coming out there with their beer in their hand and their pool cues saying, What are you doing? Who are you? What are you doing? And of course I couldn't hear them because the freeway's right behind my head. So when I came back in later and I was filming some stuff, they were asking me again. They said, well, you're John Schneider.
You were just standing on a truck thing.
I was, yeah, that was me.
That was you, really?
Standing on a truck, yep.
No, serious.
That was me.
On an Explorer.
Expedition.
Expedition.
With this camera, standing on a truck, that was me.
So what are you doing?
Well, I'm doing a documentary on, and the girl says,
On what? People getting drunk?
so I knew I had the right place. So everything we shot in there, we didn't do any set dressing. All the stuff that you see on the ceiling is really there. All the stuff you see on the walls is really there. I walked in there and I knew that this place was absolutely dead on perfect for Collier Company. And the woman that told me about that happens to be my wife's best friend. And her name is Letty. And she and her husband Rob, who did some driving as well. In fact, that's Rob right there doubling me, driving Traveler in front of Acre's, because that's me filming Rob doubling me. Yeah. Everybody did something.
Honey?
Yeah?
Look.
You are? Okay, I'm going to come over and say goodbye. I'll be right there. All right. It's my wife right there, and she's going with Letty right now. But the reason I bring that up is Letty is the blonde that hits that wins the first game, and she gets the 8-ball in the corner pocket and says, "Woo! I win, you buy."
I won, you buy.
That's Letty. So she's the first person you actually see in the movie, and it's because she's the one that steered me toward that place in the first place. I gotta go. I'll be right back. Now I gotta mention this guy. This is Eric. Eric is a guy that came through for me when I needed a less than perfect '69 Dodge Charger to play Traveler before the transformation. He let me have the car for months. He worked on the movie. He's in a bunch of scenes. There's Eric with Jet, who's been working in New York for Collier. Great folks.
I think you need to pay up.
How many of these does it take to make a movie? Well, there's one more we don't have here. Eric's car. Thank you, Eric. Mwah. Your ratty Traveler was just perfect.
Hi, I'm Ellie Castle, and I played Becky Collier in Collier Company, Hot Pursuit.
My wife plays my wife in the movie. My daughter is my daughter.
Jason Joseph Schneider was in the movie briefly for one scene.
I call. In fact, I'm so sure I'll even use my lucky Susie B silver dollar. She's never let me down.
Hi, my name's Marcus Milton. I play Shorty in Collier Company, Hot Pursuit.
They were not pretentious at all.
When John asked me to play his wife in the movie, I had a lot of reservations because I'm pretty busy at home with the family and running around, and I didn't know how I could quite fit it into the schedule, but we managed. And I wasn't so happy about it at the time, but I'm so thankful now that I was able to do it. And I just had a blast with John and everybody else, so I'm really glad, and I miss it.
Like, I've done a lot of acting at my theater camp, and which is a really great place, CGFT. And I've also done a couple of things for this local theater. And so I want to do some, I don't know, like theater and movies. So it wasn't my first time, but in a real movie, it was my first time.
You know, it's a beautiful day. Come on out, Biscuit. We're going to the backyard and shoot a scene.
You know what would happen to me if you died?
You die.
Immediately, if not sooner.
Well, it's perfect for the movie, though, because my daughter is supposed to be unimpressed with everything that's going on in her father's life.
Let's bring up the car to celebrate. I'll bring up the...
Let's take a... What
take
was
a
that?
drive. Let's
take a drive to celebrate.
Let's take the drive. This is hard. Let's take a drive to celebrate. I'll get the car. I can't do it.
And Karis is exactly that.
I'm Karis, and I played Danny in Collier Company. It was fun.
He's kicking me.
My name's Phil Redrow, and I play Tex in John Schneider's Collier Company's Hot Pursuit thing, you know.
My wife plays my wife, and she's supposed to be kind of irritated, and that was no problem.
JR.
Coming in here and working on the editing, it was great to be able to go in and find areas where Ellie was aggravated at John, and it worked perfectly well for Becky being aggravated at JR. Here, this thing.
You can't see this.
If you hold it right. You planned this. Or you two did this. You two planned this.
Honey.
Yeah.
You two planned this.
No, just hold it up. Don't have to be that dramatic.
Why are you holding something up?
So it cuts better. Now, I had a whole lot of fun working with Tex and Shorty.
My favorite part's the ones I was in, really.
And Fanning.
I want you to do one thing right, in a row.
And Quaid.
Your office 10 minutes?
Yeah.
These were very, very good friends of mine. Quaid actually, Kyle is the one I've known the least amount of time. But he's great because we'd work on a scene a little bit, and I'd tell him what I wanted him to say, and he would just say it. I think that a lot of times with new actors that too much prep can be a dangerous thing.
We might be in two totally different places.
Knowing your lines too well oftentimes makes people very stilted, and it doesn't really quite work because they're trying to put inflections where they think they belong rather than just having a conversation.
Usually, like, before I did it, he would give me, like, the lines, like, 30 minutes before we started filming.
So when I turned Tex and Shorty and Kyle and Rex, my gosh, Rex has been an actor for a long time. When I turn all those people loose and just tell them what they need to do on the fly.
Heading back. You want the siren?
Yeah, now just make the noise.
Woo! Woo!
Simple-minded people scare me. It's fantastic, and I think I hope you'll agree that when you see Collier and Company, that the performances are very real.
I could get hit by lightning right now. You could get hit by lightning, right? All right, look, why don't you just come on inside and check out the new business? It's safe, it's secure, and it's making me a ton of money.
Nobody's over the top, nobody overdoes it, nobody underdoes it. People just are.
Tex. You say play Tex. I don't know nothing about no Tex. We don't talk about that over here, see?
And that's very exciting for me. When people see the movie, they fall in love with these characters.
We're independent contractors acquiring used vehicles. Technically speaking, the exchanging of pink slips is not illegal.
Right.
Going 140 and a 30, that could be pushing it.
Billy.
You don't fall in love with a one-dimensional character. You fall in love with three-dimensional characters, and all of the actors in this movie, I think, have provided that.
What the heck was that all about?
He's probably some religious freak. Surprised he didn't try to pin a flower on you. Yeah, well, if he'd done that, I'd have decked him.
In abundance.
Oh, true, against an old defenseless lady, huh?
I liked when the scene with my grandma when she was like, "Bring it on."
Bring it on!
Yeah, I like working with Dad. Dad's a cool guy.
The most challenging part was a difficult line that I had, and to this day, I have wanted to repair this line. There's a part in the movie where I say, Collier has a kid, right? Yeah. Well, it's my experience that the safety of one's children can provide excellent motivation. Folks, let me tell you that it took me hours to get that right. Collier has a kid, right?
Yeah, he's got a daughter, so what?
Well, it's my experience that the safety of one's children can provide excellent motivation. I just could not get it right, and I thought, this is it. My career's over. The moment it starts, it's over. Collier has a kid, right? Yeah. Well, it's my experience that the safety of one's children can provide excellent motivation.
Thank you. Tears in me one good eye.
Thank you.
You remember me telling Fred, do one thing right.
Oh, in a row. He could not get that right.
Don't butt me. Can we do that again? Sorry. I want you to do one thing right in a row. J.R. Collier is
gonna hug me to death.
J.R. Collier cost me.
It's okay. Good.
I want you to do one thing right in a row.
I know that line.
He cracks himself
I want you
up.
to do one thing right in a row. And he could not get that. He did not understand that concept.
Like about the children thing that you didn't understand? Because I understood that.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, there's areas where you were hurting too. You couldn't even get in a helicopter.
I loved the last scene that I shot, which is the scene with the kiss, of course, because I got to kiss my husband, then I got to tease him about the way he was kissing me because he was doing an on-screen kiss, which is kind of like, And I was just, I couldn't believe that he was kissing me like that. And I was like, you're supposed to kiss other girls like that, but not me. You suck!
See that one in?
That's a blooper.
That sucks!
Okay, all right. Killing his career
You
right
cannot kiss me like that!
That's
That's what we'll put on the internet.
It only takes one moment to kill a career.
Yeah, that's right. That was it. That was it, right?
You suck.
That was like some movie star ugly girl kiss that you don't want to kiss or has onion breath or something.
So that was really fun. The other reason it was fun was because that was the last scene and we were done with the movie. So I got to do a little victory dance.
I'm free. I'm free.
Wait, we need to shoot that. We need to shoot that again. Wait, we shoot that again. Here, you get in the door. We shoot that again. Go that way. Turn that way.
Wait,
Becky.
What we got?
Oh, somebody unplugged it. Michael, Brian,
I did.
Would you unplug this?
Try to leave. Go ahead.
Could you say that in the camera?
Hey, Becky. Look, I hope that.
Oh.
Wait just a second.
I'm free. I'm free. I'm free.
She's expensive.
I liked driving the General Lee.
Would you get paid?
I didn't get paid.
There you go.
Shorty just drove in a Mercedes. To tell you who got paid the most on this movie, I drove a Honda Odyssey too.
Oh.
Would we actually get paid for that one?
Well, I don't know.
No, John.
I do. I think I didn't have it on.
You're not paying me. I refuse to do it.
You have to do it again.
I'm not doing it again.
Wait a minute. There's another thing that's really difficult. When you've never done movies, let me tell you folks, at the times, what the heck was that?
Something jumped out of your mouth.
It must have been a lie. Yeah. At the times that I'm talking to someone.
Collier has a kid, right?
I might not necessarily be talking to them. They might not even be there.
Yeah, there's a lot of that running around.
It's my experience that the safety of one's children can provide excellent motivation.
See, there's why Marcus couldn't get that line right. That's actually Michael Barnard he's talking to, because Phil couldn't make it to the set that day. That's pretty tough.
By the way, let me tell you, kids, don't smoke. And let me tell you, I don't smoke, okay? And that cigar was the most horrible thing ever. That, to me, was the most difficult part of the movie, was trying to make it look like I smoked when I don't smoke. Freaking liberal.
You disturb me.
There's a lot of prep involved, especially when you're jumping a car. So Don Gilly, Don is a stunt coordinator, but he does everything. Don lit a lot of the movie. Don operated a lot of the movie. When I was driving into the tunnel and the helicopter was doing that, Don was on the side of the road with a camera.
Dad, I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
Hi, I'm Don Gilly.
Don, go away. And we had a good time.
I was the stunt coordinator for Collier Company. And I played a bodyguard. I played a chauffeur and a redneck playing cards.
Looks like it's gonna be fun.
I also doubled for quite a few people on this film. So I doubled for John, doubled for Tex.
He's too shy. He doubled for Shorty and also as Billy as the sheriff.
Oh, and also I doubled for Ellie. I've got range, as they say, which was pretty funny with a blonde wig and a purple or pink Angora sweater. It looks a little funny with a little hair coming out of your chest.
Does this have anything to do with those dolls you have? There's no truth to the rumor.
We had a great time making this show. We filmed this out in California and different places. We had a couple good car chase scenes with a helicopter chasing and a Shelby Series 1 in this movie. We had a car jump that very reminiscent of the Dukes of Hazzard. We had a great time doing this.
John Schneider, Traveler! Oh my God!
I do have a lot of songs in this movie from an album I did a number of years ago that I was unsuccessful in selling. So I'm also hoping that perhaps Collier Company will give a little boost back to my music career. There is a shot in Collier Company of, I've been around enough to know John Schneider, and it's in the #1 spot. So I've got music in here. Phil, Red Row, who plays Tex, has a lot of music in here as well.
Bingo.
There's a wonderful, wonderful musician by the name of Bob Boykin. Boy Can He Play, we call him. He calls himself the Funky Redneck. He did all that fantastic music that you hear behind the Orange Grove Chase.
He's coming right at it.
All the dobro stuff you hear.
You're lucky I'm here. Yeah, I'm really lucky. Thanks. Gift.
Everything that's not Phil, myself, or Los Lonely Boys, and they're the group that starts out the movie. Again, because they're Dukes of Hazzard fans. Ringo, the drummer, said, "Hey, you know, if there's anything we can do to be part of your movie." I said, "Well, yeah, there's 3 songs I need." He said, okay. So that worked out really well. But everything else, all the incidental music, whether it's a love theme.
My gosh. She's getting so big.
I just saw her yesterday.
I was talking about your mother.
Or whether it's some sort of a saucy song that you hear at a honky-tonk. That's Bob Boykin. So we've got a great group of musicians. A lot of it was recorded right here in this room. We had a banjo right there. We had a pedal steel right there. We had some guitars in the other room. And we did it right here. So when I tell people that Collier & Company is a labor of love made out of the back of a truck, it really is. Lights from a hardware store and people sitting on the couch playing the banjo. You can't get much more out of the back of a truck than that.
I also wanted to thank Paul Casey. The very first song you hear is in the beginning, the introduction in Collier & Company. That's Paul singing Traveler on the radio. Great guy, lives in Vegas with his lovely wife, Milena, and they're about to have a baby one of these days. Paul, thanks for everything.
Let's roll, baby, roll. Rolling down the road.
The car Traveler was actually supposed to be a white 66 Corvette, because I had a white 66 427 Vet. And actually it appears in a way in this movie because there's a motor on an engine stand in many shots in the garage, and that is the 427 4-bolt main 435 horse. Yeah, I'm a motorhead. Engine from the 66 Vet. But jumping a convertible is a problem. It's very unsafe.
This one will not live past, well, it's not going to live 24 hours. That one's going bye-bye. It's going right over there tomorrow. Oh well, these things happen.
When Collier & Company was first written, and since it was 24 years since I wrote the original script, and Dukes is doing so well once again, I thought probably it would be really smart to use a 1969 Dodge Charger that just happens to be Hemi orange. So I used my car, took the flag off, took the decals off, and took the push bar off the front. And my car also is it's a column shifter car. All the General Lees were down here on the floor. Console shifters. So my car is different enough. So that's the one car. 725 horse, great car. Then also I actually borrowed a car from Carroll Shelby. I borrowed a Series 1, and that's the other star car in the movie. A great car, and that's the one that it came directly from Carol's place out there through a wonderful gal. We took that car and drove it up and down roads that cars haven't been on in a long time.
Street that has no line on it. All right. We're not going to do this street very much, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I gathered.
Chased it with helicopters, and it was a blast.
On the other side of the coin from that little yellow Plymouth Arrow, the best experience I had was the Shelby Series 1. That car is so hot, so fantastic. When I got to drive it around going from different places, and we were located in an area where you know about the area because you've heard about Ferrari crashes. This is an area where Rolls Royces are the family's second car, where everybody drives hot cars. When I was driving around in that Series 1 in this area, I got everybody's attention. That's how hot this car was. And it was a dream to drive. So on one side, we got this little Plymouth Arrow. Cute. But on the other side, man, I tell you, that Shelby Series 1 was the nicest thing I have ever been in.
Oh. Then also we have, there's a couple of shots in the movie that people just go, and from what I understand, nobody's actually seen in a movie before that many exotic cars at one time.
One side was all Ferraris, the other side was all Lamborghinis, and then we got that Shelby. Man, it was better than this entire year's lineup of Playboy. Not that I look at Playboy or anything, but no, seriously, I don't.
And that's a goal of mine, to have people go, and they do when they see the movie. They just love that part. So we've got some incredible cars in this movie, and those came to me from a wonderful guy that I met out here who actually went to a rival high school of mine back in Atlanta, and his name is Rusty. He's got a couple of rooms full of cars like that, and he was a Dukes fan when he was a kid, so he was all excited about loaning Collier Company those cars. Probably the most important car in the movie.
There was this wonderful, wonderful car.
I think the best thing about the movie, personally, is the yellow Plymouth Arrow.
It's like the little song, Me and My Arrow. It's the Plymouth Arrow.
Me and my arrow. Yeah, I remember that. You don't remember that.
And it has so much soul.
This little yellow car, it's a 1974 Plymouth Arrow. I bought this car from a friend of mine.
He does body. We're gonna put this baby back to original condition.
Who's actually in the movie. Well, let me explain that. Jack Skaggs is a California highway patrolman who is the man that owns the gas station that we blow up in the movie.
Hey, JR. Hey, Becky.
A very good friend of his owns a couple of gas stations out in a little town called Gorman in California. Well, when cars get stuck on the grapevine, they wind up at Emil's place. So I went, Emil said he had a car for me for the movie. So I went to Emil's and I was looking for a bad guy car, a sedan, you know, kind of a big car. And when I drove up, this little pitiful looking yellow Plymouth Arrow was sitting outside, and I jokingly said to him, "Hey, that's not the car you have for me, right?" He said, "Well, actually it is." And at first I thought, oh, this is terrible. This isn't what I wrote into the script at all. And I wasn't going to take it. I wasn't going to pay the $1 that it cost me for that car. But I had the trailer there, Jack was there, and I'd driven all the way out to Gorman, and I thought, all right, well, I'll figure out something to do with it. It runs, it's fine. So I gave him $1, he signed the car over to me, and as I was driving back, I thought, you know, a yellow car being chased by an orange car through a beautifully lush green orange grove with these beautiful oranges everywhere, this could be really great.
Flipping it over into the creek was about the most fun of everything.
Don't move. Oh.
what better way to cute up and to diminish the nastiness of bad guys than to make them visually pleasing and visually hysterical as they drive by. So by the time I got home, I had convinced myself that the little yellow car was all my idea. But now I've let the cat out of the bag.
It's my granddaddy's car, man.
Well, your granddad's gonna be real proud of you.
One thing about the car, though, that's interesting to me is that it's a little four-cylinder car, and it sounds like a four-cylinder car. But seeing it go by on the screen was so funny, I thought it needed a funnier sound. So George Lockwood and I, George was wonderfully helpful in doing the final edit and doing the sound, doing all that sort of stuff. He took a combination of two things to make the sound of Little Yellow Car. One is a leaf blower. Now that I've said that, you'll hear the leaf blower every time.
Collier.
And the other is my grandmother's Singer featherweight sewing machine. It's just in the other room. So all the you hear from the Little Yellow Car is actually a Singer featherweight sewing machine overdubbed over top of a leaf blower. And people in the audience just laugh and laugh and laugh when they see it go by. So it worked, and it makes these two guys, Tex and Shorty, I think some of the funniest folks I've seen in a movie in a very long time.
Go laugh.
I was supposed to crash into a tree, and I came within inches of doing it, and something just told me stop right here, and Dawn kicked up some dirt. It was so dark I couldn't even see it all, and then I just slammed on the brakes, and I was probably about this far from hitting the camera and the tree. So that was really a lot of fun.
Everything we did was dangerous. Again, with the Little Yellow Car, all those shots were shot while John was sitting on the hood and I was sitting on the roof, driving along through the orange grove.
Ready, Michael?
Yeah, where do you want it?
Just right down on the front. Do the look out, and action, guys.
Look out! Ah, jeez!
We're dropping oranges in through the windshield.
Yeah, you got Mike up there.
Sorry, I'm full.
I don't want to go home with my mommy.
To make it look like we were hitting trees.
The other thing that was actually a lot of fun was in the orange grove, the scene. I was trying not to get sick because we were actually in the car and John was doing all the donuts and it was just wild. It was blowing and John was driving and doing the donuts and I was trying to hang on, and one of the scenes or one of the takes you can actually see me breathing kind of deeply. Well, that was because I was trying not to get sick. Woo.
Look at me and say, you are really good.
You are really good.
Thank you. Hang on. Now do the, I'm going to do the stuff about you. It'll come to you. Whoa, folks! Must have been Tex who stole the Shelby and hit Billy.
If he stole the car, why doesn't he have what he wants?
Well, we had two of them. He must have stole the wrong one.
No, he didn't know his own car?
Well, some people just aren't that bright.
Stupid people scare me off. Oh. Stupid people scare me, so you can let me off anytime.
was close. Almost crunched the front end, but we didn't.
It was all fun though.
And when I was in Bulgaria, Don came out with Michael Barnard, and they shot the reverse 180s in the dirt, and they shot a lot of drive-bys and a lot of things that lead up to the jump without me even there. So it's a wonderful testimony to how we all had the same movie in mind. Because whether I was shooting it or Don was shooting it or Michael was shooting it, it all wound up looking like it was shot by the same person at the same time.
Absolutely perfect. It was actually the very first film that I've ever been on or been associated with that everything was 100% perfect. Helicopter was on time, the car jump went great, the yellow car rolled perfectly.
I love it. I love the fact that we tipped the car on its side. And you can't see this in the movie, but all of us are lifting the car up because it's such a small, dinky little car. We lifted it up, got it on its side, propped it up, and then when we're ready to flip it over into the creek, it stayed there on its side. We actually...
Kick a lot more dust than that. Okay. And anytime, go ahead and start kicking dust and throw the oranges. There you go.
Thought I was gonna go run for your car, didn't you?
We put that little car on its side, tied it up, held it there. We're ready to flip it into the river. We take off the rope, we remove the props, and it stayed there on its side. We actually had to go and push it over, which like the car didn't want to go. And then it rolls into the creek, and that little car started up in the creek.
Come on, let's go.
Yeehaw!
No way. No way, buddy. This ain't going.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
The car had to be rigged specially for jumping.
Also, seeing the car jump was cool, and
the suspension needed to be changed. It had to have a fuel cell in it rather than a gas tank. There had to be a roll cage in the car. All kinds of things had to be done. That car wound up costing a lot of money. I really didn't have much of a concept. In the Duke's days, we'd buy those cars for $1,200. I had to pay almost $9,000 for this one, and it didn't run. And then do a bunch of work so I could jump it over a creek and have it never run again. Insane.
And then we had to have it painted. Then you have to have all the interior ripped out of it. You have to have a roll bar put in it. You have to have a weight box put in it in the trunk. And you have to put a fuel cell, get rid of the gas tank, have it emptied, put it back in. You have to find the wheels.
We ordered a set, and this is what we're doing. If this doesn't work, it's Gary Baxley's fault. That's GaryBaxley.com.
There's a lot of prep involved, especially when you're jumping a car.
In movies today, you don't do car jumps. You see car chases, you see cars that will roll over, cars that catch on fire, but a car jump is very rare.
I was there, and it was really cool to watch it in person. Just watch it. I mean, you always see it on TV and you think that's cool, but to see it in person, well, that's even better.
Lee Smith was our driver and did a fantastic job.
Incredible cooperation from the Duke's guys who are still around. Gary Baxley was there as a guest. Al Wyatt Jr. was there as a guest. We used Russell Solberg's ramps. He was there setting the ramps up. So it was really great.
Tow trucks were there ready to move everything out of the way. Big thing is, first of all, is safety. And you want to have, because there are so many other people there involved, there's the cameramen. We actually had 8 or 10 cameras there. We had some that were stationary, we had some that were manned. And so that was really important. Hopefully if we had problems, the driver knew that he was going to have a runoff area, which I was near that area.
All right. Where do you think the apex is going to go? Go.
But you prepare for that in a way that nobody's going to get hurt.
Okay, that's it.
And then, like I said, we brought in a helicopter We had an EMT there that day. So we tried to look at it as the day, when the day starts out early. I got to walk it before everybody got there. We went over it a couple times. You start setting the ramp that day. You start rechecking and rechecking again. We get together with our driver. We make sure his harness is right. We make sure the car starts, got gas. You know, there's air in the tires. There are all the little things that go into play with that.
You know what's unusual about this area? We're at just down the creek from Indian Dunes, where Gary did a huge jump a long time ago. It's the beginning of Dukes, where it goes down over the creek. But it's also, we have a helicopter here, and the thing that's kind of freaky is that Indian Dunes is also where they shot the Twilight Zone. So we have a helicopter. Ooh, we're gonna go jump the car. See ya.
Yeah. And then you've got to try to have a little bit of set dressing.
Now, it's kind of hard to tell what I'm doing here, but I'm setting up a little tiny yellow flower. Because in Dukes, we always jumped over something that was kind of pretty. So here, watch the shot. All right, so you see that right there? That's what makes this special for me.
And then you try to, you know, just make sure that where the car is going to land, the area that it lands in, is going to be a nice soft landing.
Ben, here comes the fun part.
That's just like the two hillbilly boys from Harlan. Was it the TV show? Yeah.
Hang on. Okay, Tex, let's see what you got.
Oh no.
That is so cool. Hang on, I've always wanted to try this. Hey, let go of the wheel. You're gonna make me crash my granddaddy's car.
Don't move. Oh. Yeah, he's good. Still work. Doors work. Hey, Lee. It will.
Hey, Lee.
It's beautiful, John. Awesome. That's fair. Yeah, there couldn't be no pushback. Good. That's why we're getting over the rim. John, look how close you got to your camera.
Oh, well, it moved it.
Where'd the nose touch down? I seriously think.
Huh? No, I got it. Oh, he missed.
But there's helicopters. Don't worry about it. We'll get helicopters.
Reading in the script that the helicopter is going to be roaring down the highway and blowing cards off the table while we are playing cards, and my screen debut there.
Nice car, nice helicopter, nice gun, nice cop car, nice hand.
again, I said, that just is not going to happen. How are you going to do that? But John managed to come up with a couple of effects that make it work just as if the helicopter flew right by us as we were playing cards.
Here we go. Look at the car. Here comes the car. Back to the game. Now you hear the helicopter. Look at the helicopter. Comes just as low. Boom.
One of the best memories I have of it was in the helicopter chase scenes where I got to hang outside of the helicopter shooting the cars as they were roaring down the dirt roads and down the highways. Literally hanging on the outside of the helicopter, holding onto the seatbelt, shooting down from hundreds of feet in the air as the cars went roaring by.
All right, I'm all set.
When I was inside the helicopter, I usually had the pleasure of doubling techs who didn't want to fly in it for some reason.
There's the thing, I used to be a stunt pilot years ago in helicopters, and I ran one into the Empire State Building and a monkey fell on me. I don't like flying, so I made the helicopter stay on the ground.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Whoa! Look at I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Look at whoa!
And when the helicopter was in the air and there was a guy with a hat, that wasn't me.
But anytime you're in the helicopter, you see us in the helicopter, and you think it's Tex, it's really me.
I, unlike my crazy man co-star Phil Redrow, loved being in a helicopter.
I don't like that.
I was more than happy to.
Well, it's nothing to laugh at, actually. It's a serious phobia with me. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting in this chair and it's too high. I told John to put it on the floor.
Robin was so cool about flying, and he would fly really wild in order to make it look good while he was chasing the car down the dirt road in the rural area. And we were flying fast, and Robin was deliberately following the terrain so that it would look really exciting, which is why it looks so good on film. But I'd be riding along in that thing, shooting out the window, and he'd just casually say, "Tree," and then over the tree, and we'd go, "Power lines," just to let me know that we were going to go up and down so I wouldn't fall out. But it was like other people just talking about, "Oh, isn't that interesting?" He'd just be going 100 miles an hour and go, "Up tree!"
And I'm going to talk to whoever was impersonating me. Because there's a scene where I'm running to a helicopter, but it ain't me. He looks like me. It runs like me. John impersonating me.
I especially loved sitting in the pilot seat as the extremely well-talented pilot, Robin Petgrave, flew the heck out of this helicopter basically from the passenger side with a hat and jacket on, trying to look like Phil, but he's got the same tan as I do, so it didn't work.
I'd like to give it up for my twin brother here.
Yeah.
My brother from another mother. Before,
After. You should remember always to duck when you're under a helicopter.
This is why, right here.
But somehow, between John and Mike, they pulled it off, as usual.
Permits. What are permits?
Did you ever get in trouble shooting this movie? Was anybody arrested?
We were lucky to be working with John because every cop, it turns out, became a cop because they were Dukes of Hazzard fans. Otherwise, we would not have been so lucky in getting the movie made, because we had a lot of support from police who should have, in other cities and with other people, they would not have been so accommodating.
Go straight, we'll do it all again. And I sold that to a store for 100. Oh, there's a police car, and we gotta.
We're getting pulled over.
I bet we will.
All right.
Pull into the down here into the thing. You don't have the gun on, do you?
No, I do.
Thank God. Pull into this place right here.
Here he comes. What do we do?
Just pull over. I'll go talk to him. Yep.
Well, I have no license.
It's my fault.
Oh, I'm gonna do.
It's my fault. Sheriff, sir.
Schneider here. I didn't call Rick this morning, and I apologize. I did get this from my highway patrol friends, and they told me to make sure I took California.
Oh, we've got it right here. We got it right here on the floor. I'm a border patrol today.
I know, and I just
And that's got to be.
Oh my God. I'm done. Good. Well, I apologize for holding you covered up. All right. Thank you very much.
I'm a little out of uniform today.
That must have been 100 thoughts going through your head.
Where are you going?
I'm getting the thing out.
Oh, we'll cover it at home. We go home.
Huh?
Oh, we have the tape down there too?
Right here.
Oh, good. There you go.
I mean, there's war. Yeah, let's just do it.
Did I see what I think I saw? I should have left the camera. I did.
You're the man.
I think I did. Yeah.
We finally got one of those on tape.
We've been stopped by the police here
about a half dozen times.
And we made friends right away. They're great folks. And of course, they all grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard. So, okay. Oh my gosh. That was almost really bad.
Start him, Leah! Keep going crazy, guys. Go! Okay, Phil, go!
We actually were racing the two cars down a street and even set one of them on fire while we were racing, and happened to roar right past the cops while doing it, which scared me because I'm not used to cops liking me. But they pulled the drivers over, and when they found out one of the drivers was John, they said, "Well, just let us know and we'll give you an escort." Some of us, we wouldn't have that happen to us. We'd have a different response.
Hey, he's getting... I'll be a son of a... Oh, picked the wrong night, my friend. Wrong night. Turn down the dead-end street. Not so smart, are you, redneck? All right, I got you now. Well, that is no dude. Boy, he's a big fella, isn't he? Steve Allen from he won't get there.
Going back to Central, it's Richard. Exhibition of speed and e-dating and rust. You'll find out it doesn't work like it does on TV.
In the opening scene where John does his first race, he's roaring down the street in Traveler, and the car, literally, without plan, the door doesn't shut, the lights go out, and he's roaring down the street, and turns a corner, cop right there. And I'm thinking, that's the end of shooting for a while, and like a good camera operator, I grab the camera and I run away, because that's the rule when you're shooting this way, is protect the camera at all costs. And I'm back at our meeting point, and I thought, well, where's John? He calls me up and he says, where are you? And I said, well, I'm here safe with the camera and tape. And he says, well, come on, we're still shooting. I'm going, what, you're not calling me from jail? No, the cop was a fan, and on we went, making the movie the rest of the way just like that.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Well, it turns out when you're flying around hanging out of a helicopter, sometimes people notice that. And the same cop who pulled John over during the racing scene says, hey, were you involved with this other shooting that was going on, the cameraman hanging outside of the helicopter? Because it turns out the neighbors had called and said, hey, some guy is falling out of a helicopter. And that's a long story, but suffice it to say we had to hide really fast. And our helicopter, Robin, the helicopter pilot, fantastic. He was able to get us into places, follow us doing things, and get us out of places really fast so that we were never in trouble. Not never in danger, just never in trouble.
Yeah, I got Jermaine Jackson. Stop! Hammer time. I got my brother with me, Jermaine! Yo! Can't touch this.
Our first foray into the distribution of Collier & Company world was actually done in my truck and pulling a 54-foot trailer with my 725 horsepower car. I'm proud of that. The little yellow car and the other Charger, the jump car, behind us. And we went from here, we drove all the way to Atoka, Mississippi, pardon me, and then traveled all the way back, pulling those cars, taking the cars off at most places.
Superman were a redneck. That's what he looked like.
And having them outside of the theater so that people could see the cars when they came to see the movie. And that was important to me because I had seen back in '75, I think it was, or maybe '76, when the first Gone in 60 Seconds was out. The man that did that movie, Toby, had Eleanor, the yellow Mustang Mach 1, out in front of movie theaters as the movie toured across the country. So that made a big impression on me, and I thought that this would be the way to do it. And it worked. We got a wonderful feel for the movie. We raised a lot of money for charity, which was really the initial intention of the movie and of distributing it that way. We only had 3 prints. We're traveling from place to place, singing in the truck. When a song would come up, Breet and Don and I would break into, whether it was Cover the Rolling Stone or Take the Load Off, it was we'd sing, and then we put those videos on the internet, which was kind of fun. We got shot at, that got on the internet, which was kind of fun in a weird way. So I count that as some of my favorite time ever, because I actually got to go into the projection room and put the film up, take it from 6 reels to 1 big pallet, and I got to clip the film and take it to other theaters. It was a blast actually seeing it that way, and it was especially a blast. There aren't any drive-ins really anymore. There aren't any that I know of out here in California, and we got to show Collier & Company in 2 drive-ins. And that was a real trip for me, because when I was a kid in New York, we'd go to the drive-in quite often, and also when we'd, in the summertime, we'd go to Cape Cod, and we'd go to the drive-in every time we were there. So that, I really felt like I was a movie maker because I saw my movie at a drive-in. So it was a great experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And now we're going to go out again in a different way. We're going to take a motor home, and we're going to take my big car again. But the movie will actually be playing in theaters, in 25 theaters, and then hopefully 50 theaters, and then 100, and then our goal is to have it in 1,000 theaters. So we'll see what happens. Got to be willing to work hard. And we are.
725 horsepower, driving along. Yeah, tough job, tough job. Holy cow, they got baby back ribs. Wow, just did a little stunt driving. Somebody just pulled out in front of me. Anyway, glad they didn't pull out in front of John on his bike.
Hey, John.
Thank you. Do something with that, would you?
You got it.
Have a chicken dance.
La 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 la. I do. You don't. I do. In everyone.
Oh, just hold it up. That's better.
I like that part right there when I'm driving in the car and I'm talking to myself, because he's like on the floor, curled up beside me is Mr. Schneider, all 6'4", 200, a whole bunch of pounds, in a little curl with a camera, telling me what to say as we're driving along.
These lights over here.
Come on, man, push it. No, stop. No, 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 no. Burn it! What?
John does this great scene with the motorcycles parked in the handicap spot. It looks fantastic. You walk out, you see him look at those motorcycles in the handicap spot. The next thing you know, he has just driven over those motorcycles. It's just smashed. Everything is terrible. Great. Looks wonderful on the movie. But that was the only time we actually had a real problem in production, because while we were shooting that, we kind of mixed up the camera itself with the parts of the motorcycles. And while running over the parts of the motorcycles, we also ran over the camera. These cameras are not made for being run over by expeditions. And like you can see, it's pretty much a mess.
What do you always say when you call me?
What up, dog?
Then what?
This is Marcus. Collier Company. Hot Pursuit. Starring Phil Redrow, Marcus Milton, John, big guy.
Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome, John.
Whatever you do, do not leave home without your own autographed copy of...
Not leave here, I'm sorry. They've already left home. We're gonna have to write a script.
No.
Don't leave here without your own autograph.
Don't leave here without your...
Okay, here we go.
No,
Ready?
No,
Action!
no DVD collection is complete.
Lest it has a copy of
Collier Company. Hot Pursuit. And don't make us.
I can tell what this was. Hey, how's it going, little camera? When'd you fall over? Yeah. No, I don't want to get shot. I don't want to... Lots of cars today. No, you're right. I don't want to get shot, and I would never run you over. No, hey. You're right. Oh. Ow! Ow! I got hurt doing dialogue. Now that's pretty tricky. We jump cars, we're fine. We do dialogue.
Yes.
Yes, what? Give me a difference. I don't understand.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes. Sir? Yes, sir, Mr. Quaid? Yes, sir, Mr. Quaid.
That's better. We'll put him on. Hello, Mr. Painting, sir. What can I do for you, sir? Get out and do your job. Oh, no, sir. I don't have to tell you what's going to happen if you botch it this time, Ted. This is your last chance.
Don't worry, Mr. Quaid. I got a plan. I can't miss this time.
Good. Get out.
You all right? Yeah, that's all right. Shoot, just Here, come here. Get out this side. Come on this side. Turn it off. Keep little rooster tail. All right, anybody, ideas? Somebody. All right, so say that. My gosh. Okay, and Shorty says, I'll handle this. Go for it.
I'll handle this.
2 against 1. 2 against 1. Oh, wait. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Oh, 2 against 1 old defenseless lady.
Oh, sorry. No. Come back. Two against one old defenseless lady, huh? Bring it on.
I forget.
That's all right.
Hell, you ought to hear what I forget.
Ready? Wait, step back again, Marcus. So you push Tex out of the way? All right.
Get the look on your face.
Ah!
Yeah.
All right, go in there, Shorty. Say I can handle this.
I'll handle this.
2 up. Wait.
Two.
That's all right. Lady, don't stop me. Start again.
That's all right.
2 against 1.
2 against 1.
Old defenseless lady. Defenseless old lady. That's the right line. 2 against 1 defenseless old lady.
There was another one.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. That's what I care.
It's all right. We still get that in there no matter what.
Ready?
Bring it on.
Go in there and get it.
I'll handle this.
Oh, 2 against an old defenseless lady, huh? Bring it on!
Hey, where are you going? I got this thing for you, don't I?
Okay. Say hey.
Hey, name is Robert Wiley Wendell, Tulsa. Yeah, he called while you were out.
See the fellow I'm taking this food. Yeah,
That's right.
Go back in.
Oh, I got the details on that donor.
Here, let me get you the details on the donor. Action.
Oh, hey, let me get you the details on that loaner.
Donor.
Okay, ready? Action. Oh, hey, let me get you the details of that donor. All right, action. Oh, hey, let me get you. Okay.
Action.
I enjoy your style and abandon. I think there is more to your mind, my new friend, than meets the eyes.
I think there is more to you
I think
than meets the mind.
I think there is more to you than meets the mind, my new friend. I admire your style and abandon. I think there is something more to you meets the mind. I think there is something
there is more to you
than
not
meets,
something. I think
there is more to you than meets the mind. Yes. I think there is more to you than meets the mind, my new friend.
Say that to me like you might want to kill me. Oh, well.
Okay.
Action.
I admire your style and abandon, my new friend. I think there is more to you than meets the mind. I admire your style and abandon. I think there is something more to you than meets the mind, my new friend. I have a new Maranello that I would enjoy to run against you.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
What?
So turn it around.
Why?
Because I don't like it on me. I don't like looking at it.
Oh, no, I don't think I have.
J.R. Collier?
Very
Caller. Who is he? What's the guy's name?
Collier.
J.R. Collier.
Collier.
There's J.R. Collier, man. That's J.R. Collier?